Hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to Stormworks Build and Rescue, or as it just says on the title screen, Stormworks, because apparently they're dropping the whole build and rescue type thing. Well, anyhow, hello, Facecam again. Yes, today we are going to be checking out the new Space DLC for Stormworks, which came out on Thursday, I want to say. Now, I haven't really checked it out. I did open the game at one point on Thursday just to check and see that everything that I've ever done is broken, because they bugs and they also just broke stuff, which we'll get into that in a moment. But first, let's talk a little bit about Minecraft Live, which happened today and was actually quite interesting. Surprising, to say the least. First of all, it was actually a very short Minecraft Live compared to what it's been in the past. It's been like 3 hours long in the past. And it's just been like a lot of filler content, like, oh yeah, here's some stuff that the corporate map makers on Bedrock can use that no one else is actually going to give a crap about. Here's some other sponsored content from Bedrock that's very commercialized. So, yeah, there was surprisingly little of that. They did do stuff with, like, Star Wars stuff they're doing on Bedrock. Who won't they sell out to? They sold out to Crocs, so I guess they're going to sell out to Disney as well, which, I mean, I guess they've probably already done that, but specifically Star Wars. They also did some stuff, I believe, with Lego, which they've had Lego Minecraft sets for a while, so I don't exactly know what the purpose of this one was. But obviously, the star of the show, 1.20.1. Nope, no, 1.21. 20.1 is already out. It's always 20.2, which, as I talked about on Friday, came with a whole host of changes that kind of screwed with the modding community. So actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at this list of things that I just kind of wrote down on Discord, interestingly, about what's coming to 1.20.1. So the primary thing they spent a long time talking about in the video or on the live stream, I didn't even feel like it was a live stream. It very much felt pre-recorded for most of it, especially, I mean, obviously the in-game parts were obviously pre-recorded, but even then the live parts where they were like in front of a green screen or whatever, being green screened into the game, that felt pre-recorded as well. The only thing that I guess didn't feel pre-recorded was like the section where they announced the winner to the mob vote and the playout, but that could even have been pre-recorded, as they could have like just recorded a thing for like, hey, the crab one, and hey, the armadillo one, and then hey, also the penguin one. They could have just pre-recorded and then played back the same thing. So literally none of this might have been live, like, at all. It could all just been pre-recorded and, I guess, edited together on the fly. But that's but, you know, I guess that's what you take. But anyhow, besides the point, on to Minecraft 1.21. So, the big thing that they spent a while talking about was the new multi-room, like, giant multi-room, I'm thinking it's underground, maybe it's not, but I'm expecting this to be underground, called the Trial Chambers, which is a new multi-room structure. It's going to be procedurally generated, kind of like a nether fortress or a stronghold is currently, but it's going to be, in theory, a little bit harder, bit more of a challenge, and made out of a ton of copper and new blocks that are based off of tuff, which is going to be interesting to see, because, I mean, the blocks look cool, but tuff isn't one of those things that you get like an extremely large amount of to build like a giant building with. It's one of those things that you kind of just come across as you're mining in the deep slate layers, and not in too particular quantity. So it's going to be interesting to see, are we going to get anything new with, like, how do we obtain more tuff? Is it going to be like villager trades, piglin trades? What is it going to be? Anyhow, so yeah, let's see, what else I got here? I was thinking it would be interesting if the rooms themselves were procedurally generated, not just like the layout of the dungeon, but like the actual rooms themselves. I know like the main hallway that they were talking about. Besides that, I think is going to be randomized, like procedurally generated stuff. But it would be cool to see if the actual rooms that are off it were procedurally generated. That would actually be a lot more effort for them, but it would be a really cool structure. Very, like, 100% unique structure every time, you know, based off World Seed. Alright, lots of new blocks that they showed off, specifically when it relates to copper. They didn't talk about it, but copper doors and trapdoors, which looked interesting. There was the copper grate block that they showed them walking on a couple of times. Let's see. Yeah, a bunch of stuff, and the tough blocks, which apparently they said, I missed that apparently. The tough bricks, and stairs and stuff. The whole set of stuff based off of Tough, which is interesting. Tough is already an interesting block, but more interesting. They're introducing a new light source block. I think it's the copper lamp. I don't remember what they called it. But the specific interesting thing I wrote down about this is it has a different light level based off oxidation states, which is interesting. It's a solid block light source that you can kind of change the light level of. They don't currently have that. Obviously, there's candles and sea pickles that do that, but those are non-full blocks. It's interesting now that we're going to have a full block light source that does this. Also, I may have missed this in the live stream, or maybe they just didn't say this in the live stream. I don't know. Is that you can actually toggle whether or not this light source is on or not. And I say toggle and not just choose whether it's on or not or not. What were those words? Okay. Because, apparently when you send a redstone pulse to it, it'll just change its state, not based off whatever the active redstone state is. And you also, I'm hearing rumors, may be able to get some sort of comparator output. So, some in the technical community are saying single block T flip-flop, which does sound pretty cool, although it is also a light source. So you will also have to deal with that light update. But maybe the space savings for that single block T flip-flop is going to be absolutely worth the potentially destroying your performance with tons of lighting updates. As we all know, that causes issues. Man, this stream is supposed to be about Stormworks, and I'm talking about Minecraft. Don't worry, we'll get to that. All right. Another new thing that they said is a new type of monster spawner. I don't remember what they called it, but basically it spawns a limited number of mobs. Then once you kill them, it'll give you a reward. Maybe. It all is actually dependent on NBT. I don't know what the default NBTs are going to look like. But they will spawn more things the more players come to, join the fight, which seems like an interesting mechanic for farming. Yes, it means that you can't just have 6 players absolutely bum rush this dungeon and overpowered. It's actually going to be a challenge no matter how many people you get. But also seems like something that could potentially be exploited by farming. Additional things that they said is that once it expends itself, it will still be functional. It'll just have a cooldown before it works again. Which, again, you can come back later, fight again, get rewards, or, again, farm it. I don't know. Who knows how long the cooldown is going to be? Obviously, the snapshot's going to roll out in the next couple of weeks when we're actually going to see, okay, what is this actually going to do? But that's an interesting thing specifically for the farming aspect of it. Oh yeah, and they also said that you could break it, but it's going to be similar. Well, it's going to be blast proof first of all, so you can't just blow it up with a creeper or TNT. But it's also going to have a similar hardness to effectively the portal, the portal block in the ancient cities that isn't a portal. I forget what that block's called right now, but it apparently has a similar hardness to that. So it'll take a while to break. You're better just defeating the mobs first and then worrying about breaking it. Oh, it's called the trial spawner. I wrote it down. Wow, we'll read further. All right. Yeah, after cooldowns used again. And then, okay, the next thing that they explicitly announced, which is a freaking game changer in vanilla, auto crafting, which this seems actually freaking epic. And based off what I've seen, this is literally just the auto crafting droppers from Carpet Mod, but in vanilla Minecraft with a couple other really nice tweaks. So if you didn't know, the Carpet Extra mod actually has a game rule that you can set to enable you to be able to automatically craft stuff by pointing a dropper into a crafting table. Which, I believe this was made by Nembomb, who is now a Mojang developer, which is also why I'm saying this is just kind of a copy-paste of that. And he showed it off in a video. You can go look at his channel a while back. And he was building this as this very Minecrafty way to do auto crafting. Because you got because you got to put a lot of redstone effort into formatting the items. Now, the version they showed off in-game is, obviously, it's a one-block solution. So it's a bit better than what we have there. But you can also toggle slots on and off, which means you need a lot less redstone expertise to actually shape the recipe. Because the way that the modded implementation currently works, you need to, if there's air gaps in the recipe, you need to fill those in with an item and then take that item out before you do the craft. That'll just effectively be, just go into the GUI and configure it in this thing. But interestingly, this block, when it's power, okay, obviously redstone power will actually do the craft. But the way it works is interesting. It'll by default just drop the item onto the ground in front of it, kind of like a dropper. I don't know if you can just like put a hopper underneath it and that'll suck the item out once it's crafted, or if that would actually suck out the items going in, like in the dropper crafter, which it actually might. Because it also does act like a dropper, is that if you put an inventory block in front of it, it'll put the item, the finished item, in that inventory block. All things aside though, this is great. I think this was a NemBomb implementation, just based off of that experience that I have from using that stuff on Coolcraft. And hey, it's vanilla, so I like that. Besides that, they went back to the what was it called? Trial chambers, and revealed that there's a kind of like a boss mob in the structure called the Breeze, which can apparently interact with like redstone devices through its attack, which is kind of interesting. And if there are dispensers around the area, at the beginning of the fight, you might just want to go and empty them or break them. Because, mind you, this is all built as this, are you good enough combat trial? But it's also still Minecraft, so you can definitely still cheese it, build your way out of these situations, just cover up all the dispensers, empty them. It's Minecraft. It's not going to be overly restrictive. And of course, besides that, more things are to come in the snapshot cycle, like last year, which I think is, an interesting way of doing it. You don't overpromise, because I assume these features are basically ready to go into snapshots, and then therefore they can't underdeliver. And of course, the final thing is the Armadillo won the mob vote, which wasn't what I voted for. If you saw the stream on Friday, I knew because all the English-speaking parts of like Hermitcraft YouTube that I've looked at, and I guess Twitter as well. There was the crab winning on those, because I guess most of those people saw how useless a pet armor would be, but clearly the Minecraft world at large, the non-English speaking parts, all the parts that I've never heard of, they all thought that a pet armor would be a better idea, because that will definitely be useful and not just prolong the life of the pet very, very briefly, but I guess that's what we're getting. And they did also make sure to say, look, we're not giving up on these other mobs. We may add them in the future. Look at the frog, which was, I forget when, but also apparently one of the mob votes of the past. I don't remember, but apparently they're like, look, the frog did it. The frog lost and still got into the game. These mobs may be added in the future. So I really hope they don't add the glare from a couple years ago, though. That thing's useless. But yeah, anyhow, that's basically all I wanted to say about Minecraft Live. Now, let's get into Stormworks, which I didn't realize there was a daylight cycle on the main menu. So, that's interesting. Alright, let's get a new custom game. Let's go to the creative base, because that's the best one. And I'm going to turn off Search and Destroy. Weapons are kind of a minute. Honestly, Search and Destroy, very big letdown from a DLC from Stormworks, because, you can't actually destroy stuff. You can damage stuff, but you can't destroy it. That was kind of sad. And also, the AI is just too good. And disabling the AI is a real pain. But yeah, it's been like a year. Almost exact. I don't remember. Actually, it was about a year ago when I made that video on making the nuclear-powered train on Stormworks, which doesn't work anyway. Which doesn't work anymore because of changes they made in this update, actually, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, maybe the patches that have come out since then have actually fixed it, actually. So before we go and start doing space stuff, reading the patch notes, all that stuff, I will actually go through some of my older things, which maybe are broken, because they have released patches that hopefully fix any issues that I was having. Also, ever since this DLC came out, this menu, the loading takes forever. It's like stuck on 90% for a while. As you can see, it's still getting 60 FPS. Oop, Discord. Oh, I'm cropping it out before this way. What's it look like uncropped today? Oh, it uncrops on that side, of course. That's great. But yes, as you can see, here. Yeah, it's 6. It's still 60 FPS when my camera's too far away. Well, I don't want to touch it. Oh, there it goes. Loading the game. Finally, okay. Same old character as I usually do. Like normal. Alright, create a base. Let's first of all go in here and turn off player damages. That is not something I'm looking to. By the way, just so you know, the rockets we're building will probably not have a life support system. We're going to be satellite launching today, because that's how you realistically have to start with space travel. The NASA contracts for crew, or the crew missions to the ISS, those come later. You first have to, launch satellites and stuff. Actually, I don't know what the career mode for what was this? The low line normal mission. I don't know what the career mode for this DLC looks like. To be fair, don't know what the career mode for the other two DLCs look like either. Because I never really played it. As you know, I did at one point make a single video doing career mode in Stormworks a long time ago. And never made another one because it was so boring. Maybe I'll stream the actual career mode in this game. Anyhow, we are going to go check out this thing. Oh wait, I'm gonna put headphones